right. Welcome back to WRP's live play of D&D's Shadow of the Dragon Queen. What is WRP, you might ask? I'll tell you. WRP is me, Faye, your game master and storyteller, and Lachlan, our writer and producer. We're a couple who love role-playing games and sharing stories with all of you so much that we quit our day jobs and created our own company so that way we could create high-quality TTRPG experiences full-time. We've been very fortunate along the way to meet many awesome and amazing players who have joined us on our adventure, including the players who are with us tonight, sometime. You can join them in all the fun. To get started playing with us, just join our Discord and website community where you can sign up for games, meet us and all of our players, talk about your favorite characters and stories, and even roleplay on our forums. We've got plenty of games that happen every day, Monday through Saturday, so that way you can play in our Mortal Guardians episodic campaign and fight back against the evil Coven of Zol and their dark masters from the void beyond the stars. We also offer high-quality custom quests, magic items, and our Burning Veil campaign that runs alongside the Mortal Guardians. So take a moment during game to join us and introduce yourself. We can't wait to see you at the table. Now, speaking of the table, let's get started with tonight's game. And we're going to begin with something a little different. A lot of things have happened in the short amount of time for our heroes, our adventurers. And we're going to learn a little bit about how they may have been changed, get a little update on where they stand. So, to lead us off with our character introductions, let's get an introduction from Vass.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, and I'm playing Vasilis Darmir, but you can just call him Vass. He is a devilishly handsome tiefling bard from Neverwinter who, through a series of unfortunate events, has found himself accidentally stumbling across the multiverse. He recently multi-classed into a bard rogue, or a brogue. And fun fact about Vass this week is he just loves a good spot day. He's feeling his best, looking his best. He's here for it.
Gotta love good spotting. And I think Vess deserves one after what's been going on. Next up for our introductions, let's get an introduction for Hugh.
Hi, I'm Stefan. I'm playing the role of Hugh de Vere, a rustic woodland ranger who's a swordsman and hunter who from the rural areas near Kalaman, who is increasingly drawing on mysterious dark powers to particularly to cast fear into his enemies as he strikes them with his slender blade past their armor.
Love to see it.
And he's gotten a bit more. He's hiding it well, but he's becoming more grim and determined and drawing more and more on his strange eldritch might to counter this invasion he's been tossed himself in front of.
Let's see. What may or may not come from drinking too much of that well. Next up on our introductions, let's learn a little bit about Rue.
Alrighty, I am Frontboard and I'm playing Rue. One of his real names is Rhubarb Bafflewander. He's a forest gnome from far away to the west on an island called Sancrist. He's small, but tall for his tribe, with kind of olive tan skin, scraggly white beard, and a shock of white hair on top of his head that seems to have a mind of its own most of the time. He's kind of replaced some of his green forest clothing for a nice golden sleeveless doublet that was finely crafted. His journey brought him a long way to Vogler, attend the funeral of his friend and investigate the rumors of these cloaked raiders. And he found both there, and the land kind of slipping into chaos. And lately he's been feeling more of a growing urge to restore and protect the natural balance of the world before it can spread far and go into his homeland.
Let's see if balance can overcome chaos as we journey further down this story. But last but not least on our introductions, let's learn about Victoria.
Hey, I'm Cable. I'm playing Victoria. Victoria is a paladin following the Oath of Devotion. She's a tall, armored woman in the style of the Slavonic Knights. She's good looking with a long, braided black hair, black eyes, and very pale, almost porcelain white skin. She wears the symbol of Paladine around her neck, and her shield is etched with it. She has a long sword on her hip, and the left shoulder of her chainmail is a shoulder guard from a suit of plate.
All right. So, now that we have a bit of a refresher on who the characters of our story are, we do begin where you all were coming this morning. You were arriving from Vogler, the evacuation successful. The walled city of Kalaman rises in the distance, spreading across the southern shore of a wide bay. Ships sail to and from the city's walled harbor, their courses lit by a pair of towering beacons. You see on the shore ahead, where the Vingard River meets Kalaman Bay, dozens of survivors from Vogler have pulled their mismatched boats, floats, and other devices ashore and have begun making camp. Your boat, filled with your Mayor Raven, Derrit Highwater, Hope, and Alamar, are the last to arrive. You were also the last to set out from Vogler. As you're pulling your ship, your boat, ashore, as you reach the survivors' camp, you see here villagers already organizing. They're trying to assess their numbers, reunite any separated families, and build fires to prepare meals in the morning light. Reality sets in quickly as you all come ashore and spot the developing situation. You can see one of the refugees trying to help people bring in the boat. He stands in the water. Older has slipped. He seems to have sprained an ankle, but does look to be in need of help.
Yeah, I mean, without hesitation, Victoria will jump down to help him.
Alright. Sloshing through the waters, Victoria, you go and help him, getting him out of the shallow waters. No fear of drowning here, then. If you would like to help with the sprained ankle, you are welcome to do a medicine check, or if you have anything else, would work as well.
I mean, is that something that lay on hands would cover, or?
A point of lay on hands could work, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, as you call upon the divine of Paladine, your touch heals and imbues a vitality that restores the muscles, brings ease to this figure, and thank you.
And she'll clap him on the shoulder, say, just be a little more careful.
I will try.
Easy, Victoria. We've all had a long, hard journey.
Q pops over to check out the ankle. And,
Oh, 100%. As you head over to the ankle, you can see where the bruising has shifted, begun to heal, but you're easily able to make sure that everything is set right, make sure it's in the perfect conditions for healing even more as time goes on. It's not a one-time fix, you know. You really have to work on stretching the muscles properly to avoid this happening in the future.
Yeah. Hugh, as he does, gives a full minute-long spiel about the care and training regimen to do.
As your boat fully docked on the shore at this point, Darrett's getting out, helping Hope and Alamar out. Mayor Raven also working on getting people. Vass, you can see that there is a couple of rowdy youths, two of them, that are taking advantage of the chaos here. And it seems they're trying to rob some figure amongst the refugees.
You said rowdy youths, not D-bags.
Yeah, well,
Are these rowdy youths refugees also?
they are also refugees.
Okay, so I guess I would make my way over to them and be like, "Hey, man, what's going on? What's all the ruckus?"
This guy, he owes us money. We're just trying to collect here. Especially since we got to start a new life here in Kalaman.
And what does this man owe you money for?
Services rendered.
What kind of services could scruffy young teens like yourself render that warrants payment?
You know what? Since I don't have a insult for, you know, rolling on charisma checks, can you make that an intimidation check, please?
Okay.
Heck yeah.
The other one that has been mostly quiet at this point. Hey, look, why don't we just leave this guy alone? I don't want any trouble. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna be the better men here and just let this go by. And the two teens head off.
Vass will kind of smirk in their direction as they walk away, and he'll address the person that they were harassing and ask, you know, what that was all about.
I really don't know. They were neighbors of mine back in Vogler. Still troublemakers, but more harmless. Unsure of what might have irked them.
Well, hopefully they won't be troubling you anymore.
I do appreciate that.
Vass would kind of clap him on the back and walk away to where he was initially to pick up where he left off, whatever he was doing.
Easily done. And as this is all happening, Rue, you spot a couple that sits next to an unlit stack of firewood. It's placed to be lit, but they shiver and they stare off in the direction of Vogler.
Know if I have anything to help them light. Oh, I do. I'll draw my tinderbox out of my backpack and head that way and ask them if they need help lighting their fire.
It's almost like ghosts. They turn to look at you, eyes glassy with unshed tears. And they look between you, Rue, and the fire that was in the process of being created. And yes, I think that would be. I think that would be good.
Is there something more that's bothering you than just missing the fire?
Nothing that can be done.
Rue's like curious and suspicious at the same time. I'm not sure how to take that. Why don't you try me? Been known to help people out from time to time through my years.
So, do you light the fires?
Yeah.
And they seem to calm down in the warmth of it. There's still a somber sadness that hangs over the two, but they give their thanks. It's at this point that Garrett finds you, Victoria. He said that you'd be able to help. I think I'd like to put that armor on.
She'll stand up, cleaning some of the muck off her. All right, let's go. It'll be good for people to see a knight. And I mean, I expect someone from the city to come along eventually.
So, it's a few minutes and no difficulty at all to put, to get Jared into the armor, and it is a perfect size. It seems that Becklin had this made very well with the specifications, and
I think that this is amazing. This work is amazing. I'm very fortunate.
I'm gonna do all that I can to be worthy of wearing this armor.
She'll give one of his shoulder pads a good solid punch. All right, enough of the stuff. Now you just need to grow a mustache.
I'm working on it, and you can see sort of embarrassed flush as he like scratches at his face. But he smiles, gets some sort of jovialness here in the aftermath. As this happens and as everything else culminates, Hugh, you would be the one to pick up on this. Two prominent villagers are missing. Lord Baccharis and his son Baccharis the Younger are not present.
And they were, so those two, they're a titled family, but they're not like the lords of Vogler. They're just a noble in Vogler, right?
Right, they come from Echtwild and were displaced and came to Vogler and took up residence within, but they have no claim over the lands.
Okay, so they would count as prominent citizens rather than have no one of actual standing.
Correct.
Okay. I point this out to the other ones, and they were like, wonder where they went off to. It might be up to some mischief.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to think of anything else they might be up to.
We should check in with the military authorities as soon as possible. Particularly if loose lips are running around.
I mean, I had assumed that we would get a visit from the city guards or a representative or something, but now I don't know.
Well, it's best to push up the chain as quickly as possible. It can't rely on. If you rely on someone else coming to you, and never know when they'll happen.
Otis character question, did we send word ahead of us that there was going to be a bunch of refugees making port in Kalaman?
Well, we didn't really know.
Yeah, it was something that came as a discussion point before the immediate invasion. This was back when you were like planning of, all right, we're going to be preparing for an evacuation, but it was something that was coming up, not in that same immediate sense of when everything started happening at once.
Right,
Yeah.
so there was no time. So Kalaman wasn't expecting multiple boatloads full of people.
Correct.
Okay. I remember suggesting that the fastest ship should be sent first.
Right. Well, I mean, there were people here that came before. They might have, information on if anyone went ahead to alert people, or so you can ask around to the other refugees, see if they have any information on if they sent word.
In Victoria, do you know the this is a Salamic town, is it not? Is the Knights of Salamic have a presence here?
Do they have a? I don't know if you call it a garrison. Because they don't have chapter houses. Something of the sort. Because I assume that Kalaman has its own guards and everything.
If you would like
especially
to
with
roll
the
for me a history check.
I would not like to roll this history check. All right. 12.
12. Okay. You know that while the Knights of Solamnia used to hold a presence here in the city of Kalaman, they actually have their headquarters to the west, and that Kalaman has its own significant military force.
So, if we're dealing with the city, which we should probably be, then we need to deal with the city's forces. But I would very much like to get word to the knights as well.
Yes, we should find the Captain General of this place. Or Lord Commander, or however they title them here.
It's all the same.
Many ways of saying person in charge of the people who are in charge of other people.
So, you all are able to head out then towards Kalaman. You can, of course, again, if you want to solicit any sort of information from the people here, you can. But you see the gates of Kalaman. It's about 2 miles off, so not terribly far, but a bit of a walk.
Can we, before we go, maybe ask the mayor, the ex-mayor, if she had a plan for this?
My plan was to keep Vogler safe. Right now I'm going to make sure that everything starts setting up here. People are dried, warmed, so they don't catch ill, but I'm giving you authority for Vogler. You've asked to speak for us before, and I'm asking if you speak for us again. Make arrangements that are necessary to secure our safety with the governor and the council.
Is there a military governor or this combined office? Who is a military authority in Kalaman?
The military would be the marshal, but it is the governor, the guild council, and the marshal that all come together to make decisions.
Well, I think we should go check with the marshal first.
And likely they will all be in the same place. Typically business is handled at the castle.
Okay. Okay. Well, to the castle then.
Travel safe.
All right.
Is Derek coming with us or
Oh,
staying here?
Garrett's coming with you.
No. All right then.
All right. You just doesn't even look for us. You just start striding off towards the castle.
Oh yeah, Garrett's like, he was very much ready to go, and then Victoria's like, oh wait, we should talk to the mayor, and so he just didn't hear that, and was like, we're gonna go to Castle Kalaman. You see him stop and like look back, and he's like, where's everybody?
Sucker just got his
And he
plate
just
mail. Now he's got to walk
conspicuously
a couple
does
miles in it.
Very long strides to catch up, and then it's not like deliberately running to be faster than anyone, but looking very much like he's walking with purpose.
I love it.
You notice that Rue is not able to keep up with you then.
Rue's got that whole jog, and then it's like as soon as everybody like catches up, like Rue, you're like stopping to take a breath, and then everyone's ahead again, and so you have to jog more.
Well, I'll keep pace with the slowest of us.
Maybe I should have taken the mobile feet.
It does have the mobile feet, so that's why he's outpacing you.
I would have been slow even if you didn't have the mobile feet.
So, as you trek the 2 miles, you see statues of Titanic soldiers line Kalaman's mighty walls. These ancient stone knights stare into the distance, daring invaders to dash themselves against defenses that withstood even the cataclysm. You see a disorganized neighborhood of tents and ramshackle structures line the roads to the city's nearest gate. And at the gate, soldiers in blue and yellow uniforms question all who enter. As you approach the one on duty, she looks to you. Halt! State your business.
My good fellow, we come over water off from the ruin of Vogler. We must speak with your superior forthwith.
If you're following after the other fella, he's already gone on his way to Castle Kalaman.
Damn it.
Other
I
fellow.
beg your pardon, good sir.
A representative of the Vogler refugees came through earlier. Our captain led the man to the castle some time ago.
He does not
Who
represent
immediately
the
rolls
town.
his eyes and says, "Come quickly, before they make a hash of this."
Is it a distance to the middle of town, or like would we?
It would
Like
be a bit of a distance, because it's the center of town, as well as up on the cliffs.
Okay.
But you are
Victoria-
coming from the northwestern gate, so it's not as far as if you were coming from like the far eastern one near the bay.
Well, Victoria will say, "Are there horses we can borrow?"
I don't think it's that far.
Yeah, I think
If there's a chance that we can beat them there.
I think getting the horses would take longer than it would save.
We don't have horses on duty, but I'm sure that if you head in, you could probably talk to someone about renting theirs if you spot any along the main road.
All right, thank you.
It's not that far, Victoria.
It's
Hey, you
not,
said that
it's not a matter of distance; it's a matter of speed.
Vass and Rue have been to Kalaman before. So we came from
Yes.
right.
Vass has been here, I would say for a few months, maybe a year at this point, depending on how long you've been in Kryn. Rue, you were here a decidedly shorter time as you were coming off of the ship, but it made port here in Kalaman.
I had assumed that Victoria had probably seen it as a child or something.
Yeah.
She wasn't that far away.
Right, so you've probably visited in your youth, but have like sort of the vague remembrances instead of a full-blown
Yeah.
map. So, as you move into the gate, the guards, as soon as they know your business and that you don't mean any harm, allow you to enter in. You enter into the city proper, and Kalaman bustles. It is full of figures. You can hear the sounds of hammer crashing and striking from the nearby forges and blacksmith shops. You can hear the people that bargain and barter on the streets, and all of this passes by in a blur as you try to make it down the main street towards Castle Kalaman. Now, if you are moving at a sort of expedient pace, I will ask for athletics checks if you're trying to cut some time off of this.
Track.
Yes, it's like I can't sweat. I can't run on sweat.
We've already predetermined that Bass gets stitches really easily. So he's not pushing the limits here. He's walking a fine line.
So Vass and Rue sort of take up the rear. Darrett's somewhere in between, trying to keep pace, where Hugh and Victoria are easily moving through the crowd, covering that distance. It is not terribly long, a few minutes, as you are upon foot, moving through the different areas. But you eventually reach Castle Kalaman. Even if the imposing castle didn't stand atop a 100-foot cliff, it would still tower over every structure in the city. You see the path that rises up along the cliffside, overlooked by the giant statues, matching those that line the city walls. And at the path's end, guards stand before an open gate. Once more, you have guards that stand there in the blue and yellow uniform of Kalaman. And once more, they ask your business.
Hugh, in a very noble and officious way, announces, with the representatives of the town of Vogler, the city government of Kalaman. We come from disaster and seek urgent audience.
So, the two guards look to each other, and with a nod, one of them begins to lead you across a courtyard and towards towards the council chamber. It is as you cross Castle Kalaman's paved courtyard that a familiar figure intercepts you with an arrogant smile. Bakaris the Younger. I'll have you know my father has matters well in hand. We'll be sure to send for you and the rest of the fish folk once we've determined what's best for them.
Victoria's gonna scowl and almost give a bit of a snarl and shut up and fall in line, and then keep moving. I'm wondering if I can maybe give him a little intimidation.
Oh, 100%.
Oh God.
As much as Bakaris has a bit of a mouth on him, Victoria, you can see a coward when there is one placed in front of you. As soon as you snap at him, you see the fear for a moment as he steps aside, allowing you to proceed with your travels for the council chamber. But,
Before we proceed, Hugh steps right up into him and tells him, "Wait here, I'm not done with you."
As the bass passes by the party, he will do a very exaggerated bow, dripping with sarcasm, and not say anything.
As Rue walks by, he'll look up and just say, "You know, kid, some of the most beautiful and deadly creatures in the world are fish."
as your group passes by, you hear, "I'll make sure that my father hears of this."
All right. With that, Hugh turns around and tells, with a head nod, that the rest of you keep going, and he steps into him. Yeah, and puts his arm up beneath his chin, and stares right into him, and goes, "You want to be involved? Good. Good. But it's plain you have not had the benefit of a proper education in these matters. If you want to learn how to be useful, meet me every day I'm in the city. Meet me each morning, and we'll begin the instruction you so woefully need. Elsewhile, remain with the civilians." And then pushes off.
As he stumbles back, gentleman full out, and gathers himself, and you all are able to head back upon the path. The guard is leading you. As you come to the castle council chamber, you are escorted inside. I present representatives of the people of Vogler. And you see, already seated here, 8 seriously looking people, a collection of humans and dwarves that sit around a broad table in the middle of a spacious hall. At the table's end, there is a tall man with plaited blonde hair and a velvet vest of blue and gold that stands to greet you. "Welcome, guests. I am Governor Kalov Miat. Your leader has briefed us on the situation in Vogler, his bold defense, and his eagerness to strike back against these invaders.
Oh my god.
As Niet says this, he nods to a man near him, one he recognizes Lord Baclaris, who glares at your intrusion. Tell us, are your people still preparing for battle?
Baccharis is not a leader in any capacity to do with Vogler. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was the first one on a boat to flee. We've been appointed by Mayor Raven as her representative to this illustrious council.
Back up, Victoria. Vass will smoothly say, "You'll have to forgive the old chap that came in ahead of us. He's quite senile."
I can assure you that my mental capacities is in straight orders. These people are newcomers. Unfortunately, don't understand the governance and changes that will be in play.
I am Hugh de Vere, a peer of Nightland, and not your inferior, sir.
The council kind of steps into this conversation here, specifically a woman who wears a very sort of official-looking militaristic uniform. Perhaps we step away from who might not take any offices. Please tell us about the situation. We have been briefed, but if you carry any details, we are curious to hear them.
I'm gonna look. Victoria's gonna look at Vass. Tell them the story.
I mean, like, the song's mostly done, but it's not ready to be unveiled yet.
Don't sing it. Just tell them eloquently.
I didn't realize I was the vocal representative of the group.
Jarrett puts
Charisma
his,
points aren't there for nothing.
Jarrett puts his hand on your shoulder, Vass, and you got this.
And Victoria will touch Vass's shoulder and be like, "But remember, don't sing, just speak."
Thank you for the advice, guys. So yeah, Vass will explain that there was an unprovoked attack on the town when they were doing the reenactment, and we had investigated it and found a camp of soldiers not too far from the town. Soon thereafter, they were approached by one of the soldiers and basically told to accommodate the Or party or else. And the town didn't stand for that, and we defended them as best we could while the rest of the town coordinated an evacuation.
The army is a few thousand strong. They call themselves an army. They have uniforms. They have siege machines. They've invaded Salamia.
And these are no mere brigands. The effort to the subtle and premeditated effort to undermine the town's defenses by a drawing out militia to their deaths on pretense and timed right before an attack suggests a strong degree of sophistication and organization.
Mm-hmm. I imagine they have agents in your city. Because no army is going to bypass your city, not be aware of its status.
As you speak, Governor Miat frowns. This is all dire news. My heart goes out for your friends and families, but I hope you can understand the reticence for us welcoming you all through our city gates. These are not normal times. Marshal? As the governor gestures, there's the stern woman, the militaristic uniform, the embellished with the blue and gold colors of Kalaman. I am Marshal Ventry, commander of Kalaman's military forces. I'm afraid your situation is far from unique.
Oh?
Vogler isn't the only community to face peril in this region. Villages and farms in the south and east of Kalaman have been burned in recent weeks.
Why didn't you send out warnings?
We've been experienced patrols, armored Kalaman soldiers that have been found cut down. They have, in some cases, been found with mysterious and claw-like gashes in their armor. We've been handling this in a way that is what we can manage.
Shed some light on that.
Mm-hmm.
A species of dragon man compose a major proportion of their forces. They lead, their blows can crumple plate armor. I've seen remains of knights. It's distinctively 3 dashes. Again, no mere burgundy is this.
They turn to stone briefly when you kill them.
You see that with each description that you provide, these bits of knowledge that you offer Marshal Vendry, her eyes grow wide with a hunger. She desires this information, and she shows an eagerness that you are able to provide this.
Have you at least told the Solanic Knights outpost outside your city?
We have been crafting word, yes. A rider will be sent out in the next day or so. Especially now.
That's a no.
She's been crafting it. She's been handling a lot of things. But especially with your information, Vogler has been the largest community to have attacked and the only one to have as many survivors. It sounds like we have you to thank for that.
Sadly, the site of Vogler was unrecoverable at the moment, as long as they have these dragons men. It's placed, as you may know, on a cliff, below cliffs, so no defense is possible so long from a foe that can fly down or glide down.
Some of them have that capability.
Yes.
Who has like flashbacks to the gnome catapult.
Bakar speaks up at this point. However, I think that when we have enough men, if Kalaman is able to provide any assistance, we should be able to retake the city, the village. Darrett, however, steps forward as well to counter Bakar's. No. The villagers' safety comes first.
You said better.
One does seem eager to throw the Vogler people to the slaughter.
There's only a handful of fighting people left. Won't be any action against an army.
Well, because may have the kernel of a good point, is that the refugees may be motivated and have social cohesion to eventually become a force for the liberation of the home. They'll need training and equipment and supplies. If Lord Ricaris is as eager as he says, I'm sure he can aid greatly in provisioning and preparing them for this very large and expensive undertaking.
With each moment that you speak and it's doing this, you see that Baklaris kind of grows a little bit more sullen and dour, and avoids speaking up. And it's at this point that the governor, kind of having heard you all and having spoken to some of the others, would you mind very much to step outside while we discuss what we have learned?
Of course.
Of course.
Thank you
Is
for
it
hearing
sending
us.
us and Bakaris, or us?
It's
Bakaris staying
you and Darrett. Baklaris does not join you. He stays inside.
there? Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Alrighty.
Does Bass attempt to bring Bakaris with them?
You can, as you are escorted out, because you are asked to go out. Baklaris is not. Baklaris is not like remaining in there because he's not been told to leave. He just is. If you would like to make any last remarks here, any sort of emphasis for the points that you have brought up, you can do so.
Well, yeah, I'll say, while we're here speaking on the mayor's behalf with her blessing, she does hope to join you soon.
So, as you are heading out, anyone, again, last minute remarks, but anyone who wants to, as you wait in the hall outside the council chamber to listen in, we always can have some eavesdropping.
Yeah, I feel that's not something Victoria will do.
Bass will definitely do that. And on his way out, he'll turn back and look at the people from Kalaman, the council or whoever's there, and just very plainly state that time is of the essence.
I am lacking faith in a council that put so much credence to that buffoon's words.
Well, funny enough that you say that. Vas, can you roll me a perception check?
I will say that you ask of me.
Hugh very blatantly eavesdrops with his +6 of perception.
Roll for me a perception check, Hugh, please. Vas, I'm
It's
so
already
sorry.
up there.
Oh, there it is. So, the guards outside the chamber aren't really doing much. They just kind of stand as they are. They're not like immediately at the doors of the chamber, so easy enough for you to eavesdrop. Though, Vas, you're more drumming up ways on how Bakaris can, be made a buffoon like he is. Hugh, as you hear the conversation within the council chamber continue, you hear a very frustrated Marshal Vendry repeatedly interrupting Lord Bakaris. It seems that he is not getting the respect that he so desires. It seems perhaps that your words have gotten through to the Marshal and to the other council members.
Excellent.
Derek, do you know where the Salamnics are posted?
Roughly, Beckling gave a an idea of the headquarters, but she's been retired more or less in Vogler, so she's been kind of on her own. And really, the closest that she kind of kept to the traditions, taking me on as a squire. Not that she would have said as much in the town proper.
They should be involved in that conversation. And Victoria will point at the door.
Well, the marshal did say that a letter was being drafted. Perhaps we can make sure that that letter is completed and sent out post-haste.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. And Victoria will look at everyone. I'm sorry. I'm having problems unwinding. The slow pace here is really getting to me.
It's about a half an hour before the council meeting adjourns. The chamber's door opens, and most of the council members file past you, without much of a second glance. However, Marshal Vendry beckons you to join from the door. And you see inside, Governor Miat and Lord Baclaris remain seated.
Oh boy.
Re-entering into the council chamber, the governor, still at the head of the table, motions to some of the empty seats. Please, sit.
I mean, if I can fit in my armor in one of these seats, yeah. Otherwise, I'll stand.
You'd be able to fit. You'd be sitting very stiff and straight.
Wow.
I mean, well,
I think she
chainmail has a little bit more give, but yes. Governor Miat looks to all of you and decisively speaks. The citizens of Kalaman are prepared to offer your people shelter in the neighborhoods outside the city walls, the protection of our soldiers, and, while we can spare it, food from our tables.
They're hardworking people. They can provide.
But you see that he folds his hands on the table in front of him and looks to each of you. However, we do have a condition. We are concerned about this threat posed by the enemy that attacked Vogler. Woefully, there is little information that we have on this foe. The scouts we have sent to learn more have disappeared, all of them. But you have faced this foe and saved an entire village from its attack. In return for Kalaman protecting the people of Vogler, the leaders of Kalaman want you and your friend, as he looks over to Darriet, to report to Marshal Vendry as special operatives in the Kalaman military.
Garrett and I both have sworn oaths to the Solemnic Knights, and I've sworn an oath to Paladine. I'm willing to help you, but I cannot offer allegiance.
Hugh leans over. I, however, am open. I can become take a commission under the standard terms and agreements. Perhaps we can arrange for association with the noble knights. Joint operation.
I will allow you all a bit of information. Only one of your group must swear yourselves to Kalaman's military. All of you are welcome, of course. And it is only until the threat to the region is over. If you do swear to the military, you become esquires of Kalaman and are paid 5 gold a week for your employ. You and your companions will receive free lodging at Castle Kalaman, and those of you sworn in will have a emblem to mark your special rank. It will be akin to a lieutenancy. You are higher than normal soldiers, but you would be lower than the commanders.
How's this then, Victoria? I take the contract, and you can, as you are committed to the cause, and not free to swear yourselves, you can associate with me.
Mm-hmm. Seems that might work out.
Darrett looks to all of you. I mean, I'm in training to be a knight of Slumnia, but I've not taken a formal oath yet. I'm just...
Are you kidding?
Good, my boy. Contract work. Exactly.
I'm eager to... Look, I've been underneath Becklin, but like I said, Victoria, she was practically retired, so I think that, and don't feel pressured. I'm going to join. I'm going to accept the governor's offer. I want to protect my people.
Oh, what? Oh, Victoria's frowning at that, but she's going to close her mouth so as she doesn't say something, so that she doesn't blurt out anything without thinking of the consequences first. So she just like her lips are tightly pressed together, and she'll just turn back to the council.
So, Hugh and Derek are for being sworn into it. Vass, Rue?
Really know if I want to swear my allegiance to this human military. But she said, is it a Shiri?
The governor is a governor's male. Marshal Vendry, who is the military commander, she is female. She did say that it was only until the threat of the region was over. That was the contracted amount of time. After that, you're free to go your own ways.
If my friends are reluctant to swear, can I take the oath and they can be my associates?
Yeah.
Subcontractors?
They can come on as aides rather than working directly for us. This is correct.
There you are, friends.
I think that would make me feel better.
Yeah, seems like a decent arrangement.
Bass is aware that he needs to impress people in high places in order to be able to arrange a portal back to Faerun. But he is reluctant to be beholden to a particular government or organization. He would like the freedom to be able to do what he felt was right, which isn't always necessarily in line with the goals of organizations. So I think he would agree to help, but not agree to the contract.
All right. So, then, as the discussions come forward, Hugh and Derek go forward with being sworn, at least temporarily, into Kalaman's military. Governor Miat nods. Then Vogler's people will be provided with food and supplies. Marshal, if you would please ensure that the guard has been made aware of this and that refugees are relocated to the lodgings outside the trade gate. As this is all concluding, Marshal Vendry looks to your group. Come to my office on the second floor of Castle Kalaman when you are ready to learn more about your position and your first duties. Until then, I suggest that you ensure your people are safe and familiarize yourselves with Kalaman. And she sends you each a farewell, a parting, and she is on her way.
The outcome seems fair.
I think the mayor would be pleased with that. Safety for her people. And it's not inside the city walls, but she does have the protection of the guard.
It's something.
If anyone wants to roll a history check here.
Oh.
I am blanking.
Oh no. Rue and Victoria. Well, the trade camps aren't officially part of the city. They are outside of the city's walls. They have been sort of folded into the sort of city grounds, almost to say, limits. It's ramshackle buildings that began as campgrounds for caravans, but over time they've been tents have been replaced by simple buildings, muddy streets, and house hundreds of those who can't find lodging within the city's walls but are still people of Kalaman.
Yeah, I mean it seems probably the best that can be hoped for, realistically.
And for individuals such as these folks that aren't used to living outside of cities and outside of city walls, makes sense.
What's how does Baccharis look about all of this?
He looks very sort of put out. He is not happy. Hugh had overheard the tongue lashing that he had been getting from Vendry. So he's been stewing.
Hugh gives him a semi-sympathetic look and seeing if he's can and go to talk to him or not.
I mean, you can. The meeting has been dismissed, but Bakaris doesn't look like he is getting up to travel with you all.
I take it he's not staying in the tent city outside the walls then.
There's only really one way to find out, huh?
Yeah.
Cast invisibility and follow him everywhere he goes.
Exactly how you do it.
We're on the same page.
Unless you guys have other things to do, I guess we should head back, right?
Mhm.
And what do you think? Come see the minister tomorrow, or later today, or how? Because I guess it's still morning, right? Like,
Yeah, it's still, oh goodness gracious. Sirenscape.
We love it.
She's just a little fickle sometimes.
so then
So,
what do you think? Like near the end of the day, go to talk to the minister, or wait till tomorrow?
so you can, I think it would be, Darrett who says, well, first let's make sure that Mayor Raven and the rest of Vogler know what's going on. And once that's handled, we can come back, talk to the marshal, or go about the town.
Yeah, that the mayor would like to know that she has a welcome place for her people, so she can start making plans to move them into their new home or temporary home.
Yeah.
Rue just like really wants to get outside the city gates anyway and back into like the countryside.
You do. It's not a hard trip to get back to where Vogler survivors are camped, where you do see that Mayor Raven is there to greet you all. And, well, any news?
Yeah.
You didn't happen to authorize Bakaris to speak on your behalf, did you?
No. No, I would not have.
Thought that. I'm sure you can imagine that he took the liberty to tell the council that he had more authority than he did.
And apparently he's the new hero of Vogler.
I see.
But the city has welcomed you and is going to relocate the townspeople into places outside the wall in the rest of this town that's sprung up. Provide under guardianship, and we'll provide food and that till everyone's on their feet.
That is good then.
I think it was a good outcome. We've had to assume certain duties to help guarantee that deal. Which won't affect you so much that, aside from maybe you won't see so much of us.
As long as it is duties that you can handle, I trust that you will carry them with as much excellency as you've done with everything else so far.
We can only try.
You do, after a bit of conversation, realize that neither Lord Bakaris or his son returned to the camp.
Shock.
That's fine with Victoria.
Yeah, Vass is not shedding any tears over this development.
It is a couple of hours later when several wagons and a contingent of soldiers of Kalaman reach the survivors' camp. They have food, they have supplies. They aid the people most in need first. But everyone, eventually, is assisted in relocating to an unoccupied group of simple wooden buildings north of Kalaman's trade gate. There they find dry, safe housing and pitch in to make everyone's lodgings more comfortable. There's a communal cookhouse and infirmary that are established. And if any of you would like to assist in the setup of these buildings, of settling in, you are welcome to do so and paint the picture of how you accomplish these tasks, what you do.
Victoria will, whoever is in charge in the infirmary, Victoria will tell them that I'm not great at medicine, but I do have certain blessings that can alleviate suffering, poisons, disease. So just send word if you need that sort of help. There's no need for people to suffer.
I will keep that in mind. I think at this moment none of our people are dealing with anything more than perhaps a bit of shock and some strained muscles, but excuse me. But yes, if we are of need of such skills, I will send word.
And then in general, she'll just help get the place set up. Like, muscle, like moving stuff around, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't you roll for me an athletics check, please?
Oof. As soon as rolling gets involved. Oh, smoke.
Well, it's more or less to see if you get a natural one, and I can say you stub your toe. But no, yeah, 22, yeah, you're pulling everything, it's fine.
Jordan knows how to stretch first before heavy labor.
Exactly. What about the rest of you, if you are helping?
Vass would make use of a few of his cantrips. He would use mending where he needed to if some things got damaged in the travels to here, that things that would be useful, I guess. So he would do that, and he would use Mage Hand to help accomplish tasks that are maybe difficult for people to reach.
Okay. Hugh goes around and checks people for injuries and such, and see what he can do for them.
Yeah, you definitely help out, not just in the infirmary, but in other areas where people might be needing the medical aid that may not be as dire as needing to be in the infirmary. Making sure that the infirmary is set up for a very quick, concise method of healing and practices in future setups, easily handled in this time, Hugh.
I think that Rhubarb would not so much directly lend like his muscle building these buildings or helping patch up, but for more direction. Like, the sun's coming from that way, the weather patterns come from this way. You want to like fix that roof that way, and that's gonna leak, so you want to patch that. Like, just general.
Go ahead, roll for me an insight check on that.
Like sage advice.
Yeah, I'm gonna say insight.
Old man advice.
Dad advice.
You can see that some of the younger folks kind of take your word as gospel, and start to turn to utilize it. Others who are more set in their ways just listen as if it's prattle, and continue about as they were.
Kind of like dismisses some of them, like, let's see, you survive in the wild on your own. That's just kind of what's going through his head. He's just trying to help.
As evening begins to settle in, you can find bunks here within the trade camps. But you do have lodging available for you at the Castle Kalaman.
Yeah, I mean,
You know where I will stay.
You're also able to explore Kalaman in the evening, should you wish.
oh, I mean, don't you think we should do that? We're going to be here a while, doing certain duties. Should probably know our way around, right?
Vass can help show them around a bit since he spent some time here.
Yeah.
He definitely wants to take advantage of the lodgings in the castle because he's in desperate need for some creature comforts. And if he has a spare moment, he would love to see if he could find a tavern or something that needs a bard for the evening so he can make a few gold pieces.
Always hustling.
Always.
I think as part of the like wanting to help out the group and the people of Kalaman, like Rue would be interested in finding if there's some sort of like apothecary or something in town where maybe he could go and buy like an herbalism kit or a healer's kit or both to just be able to like tend to people's wounds.
So, I'm going to say both of those would be investigation checks to find a suitable tavern who may be needing a bard and to find an apothecary.
I take advantage. I wasn't here long enough to probably find one in the first place because I was not looking for one. So yeah, that's a pretty.
So, as it is now settling into evening, the sun setting, any apothecary that you might stumble across seems to be closed, but you do find one that you can return to perhaps in the morning. It's Wyon's Apothecary. You can see upon the sign.
Lions, like the animal?
Wyon's. Wyhan.
Well, it was almost a good sign.
Mm-hmm. As far as a tavern, what Vass you find a small pub, and you see that this sign proclaims it the Lean Whistle. Easy enough to slide in and provide some entertainment. If you would like, you can roll a performance check to see how your busking goes here.
All right.
It's not your best night. And I mean, given with everything that happened recently, you can't blame yourself for being off your game. But a few of the more drunken revelers here do put some coin down for you, and as you finish your set, you are richer by 2 gold, 8 silver, and 3 copper.
I'll take it. That was 2, 8, and 3.
Yeah, 2, 8, 3. Victoria, do you just sort of move about to get an idea of the town or the city?
I mean, she wants to do that, but I'm kind of maybe picturing maybe we all settled into that tavern or inn for a little bit. And so maybe she'll just enjoy a meal and the performance and try and unwind a little.
Yeah, easily done. A full meal consisting of what they call steak, potato, a slab of bread with butter, and an ale to wash it down would cost you about 3 copper in this place.
Okay. Easily done.
Rue just kind of eyes the food suspiciously and eats like berries and stuff from his pouches.
I don't blame Rue at all. The food here is
With that,
kind
what
of
they call
greasy.
steak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ground meat. It could be a collection of different animals formed into steak. Oh, it's 100% the lean meat.
Yeah, dog is lean.
Yep. So it's fairly uneventful at the tavern. Again, Vass puts on a performance. The other patrons just exist. Again, it doesn't seem it's the most popular of taverns or inns. But there are locals here. Perhaps if you're looking for information, you can speak to them.
Oh yeah, hey. I mean, just throwing it out there once in a while with locals, like if anyone knows where she can find the Slander Night Outpost.
Closest to the knights you're gonna find up at the castle, you know? Otherwise, you just want to go out west, and then west some more, I hear. Maybe further west, I don't know.
Oh, I thought they had a presence in the area. Alright. Okay.
Did we notice any outposts when we were floating down the river? Because we came from the west, right?
Yeah, you come from sort of the northwest area. Vogler's a little bit more northwest than due west.
Huh.
So, not that you saw along the Vanguard. The closest outpost that you had was the Thornwall Keep, which was in ruins at Vogler.
I think they mean it's past Vogler then. I don't
Well,
really want to go back
I mean,
that far.
we definitely have keeps west. I just thought that there might be an outpost or something here because it's a major city.
We don't, we try not to call too much on the knights. You know, we get some of them coming in from time to time. They set up shop for a few months and then they head back, you know. I think we're due for them to come stopping by soon, but No, we try and keep.
There's going to be a lot of people stopping by soon.
Man, you think that they've got an eating contest coming up here? Is that why we're gonna have a lot of people?
Do they have regular eating contests here?
Rue.
It's not like an every month kind of thing, no. But we've had a few come through in the recent times. I can't do anything like that. Too much for me.
Just gotta practice.
Could Vass have been trying to listen to see what the locals were saying, just in like what they're talking about as he was either setting up or packing up or throughout his performance when there was time to hear things?
Yeah, go ahead, roll for me a perception check. There wasn't a lot of very interesting conversation that you heard. Most of it was complaining about life's petty worries, things going on at work, whose wife was messing up which casserole, nothing very stupendous.
Okay. I'm going to use that as an excuse for why Vass's performance was not up to par. He was trying to listen to see what the locals were saying, and he was unsuccessful at both. So, good night for Vass.
Makes sense. So,
Anything from Hugh?
Hugh is checking out the various Voglerites. He's seeing who'd be if they were organizable or if they could be trained, be some kind of militia for future use. That's what he's checking out.
that would put you in conversations with Raven, who has now been trying to get people out of the habit of calling her Mayor Raven. So, putting you in the conversation, she's planning to gather the able body militia and any other volunteers once everyone has settled in more properly to go and help out Kalaman's military while they are present to sort of offer back to the community.
All right, Hugh consults and helps with that, and he sees about finding someone to sketch up a banner for him of his house symbol, which is a white snowflake on a blue field.
You could probably get that from Hope. She might be able to get that stitched up for you.
Nice.
She'll need work.
Good thing that her work can travel. But as the night passes, whether you find yourself sleeping in the Vogler camp, in the trade camps, or if you find yourself at Castle Kalaman, you are able to get a full long rest and the benefits of one. At Castle Kalaman, you are made aware by one of the guards that your group will have your own full lodgings, but they are not yet ready. So you are placed with the other castle guard upon the third level for that evening.
Ugh, barracks.
Oh yeah.
He's probably used to it.
So
Who's in the castle? Rue is definitely out in Vogler camp, if not farther out of the camp.
So, Darrett would have gone to Castle Kalaman.
Yeah.
I believe Vass went as well.
Definitely.
And then Victoria?
Yeah.
And then Rue, you're at Vogler, and I believe Hugh, with your night activities, you would have stayed in the Vogler camp for that evening, or would
Yeah.
you? Okay. So,
Well, I actually think I would have felt the castle was a place to be for actual sleeping, though.
okay, then yeah, you would have made your way over to the castle late in the evening,
Yeah.
been placed with the castle guard for that evening, while and your lodgings are being prepared within the castle.
He was status conscious. So who's
So,
If Rue would like bid all of them good night and wander off from the tavern and just like go past that apothecary one last time just to double check that it was really closed.
it is in fact
It's like-
really closed.
Not always having the best concept of hours for these businesses.
How would you really know unless you popped the lock and went inside,
I would do that.
looked around? They might just be busy in the back.
Misty stepped through the front door.
I believe that the condition on Misty Step is you have to see the unoccupied space that you're going to. Now, if someone had Dimension Door,
Did not have front windows?
the windows, because they are closed, are covered with curtains. Sirenscape. Goodness gracious. Alright, let me get her back up. Bam. Alright. So, morning comes, and you all, of course, gain your full long rest. And what do you do come morning?
all right, when are we gonna have our meeting with the marshal?
When you guys are ready, you can report to the marshal.
I assume we'll go see her as soon as we've fed ourselves and prepared
Yep.
on
Let's
our
get this
morning routines. So we're all waiting on Vass.
I think we should get that in as soon as we can.
And for Rue to get here.
Yeah, he'd probably be up early. Go out and forage for some food and stuff in the surrounding areas. Maybe take some stuff from the tent city. I don't know. I don't know if I quite trust that food. Also, I don't want to take food from like the Vogler villagers, right? That's just like I could fend for myself.
And then I guess once he joins us and Vass is done, we can head over.
All right.
So it's like 2 PM. That's what you're saying.
I would say that it is late morning, not yet afternoon, not yet midday when you guys find yourself going to Vendry's office. And let's get that sound set up. But as you are, you don't see Darrett after breakfast. He goes on his own, and as you are finding yourself directed to Marshal Vendry's office on the second floor, there is a aide outside that holds you for a few moments before you enter in.
As we were making our way here, did Vass pass any guards that he might have recognized from when he was here before?
Roll a history check. A few familiar faces. The guards here kind of swap out their duties, patrols around the city, but just a few familiar faces. No one that you quite knew for sure, but you've definitely seen a time or two at a few of your earlier shows. And
Yeah, I think without missing a step on his way past one of these people, he would just say, "Hey man, how's the game going?" And then just like give them a fist bump and keep going.
all right, nice. As you are escorted in, Marshal Vendry's office is spare. It holds little more than a desk heaped with documents, shelves filled with rolled scrolls, and a board on which is a pinned map of the surrounding province of Nightland. Vendry stands as you enter. Oh my goodness. Sorry about all the keybinds. It seems that Sirenscape was a little late to the party there. So, as Vendry stands, thank you for coming. I won't mince words. We're in the dark regarding the dangers I fear are fast approaching our gates. Your role will be able to change that. But first, I am sure you have questions.
How about you fill us in on what you expect, and then we might have questions.
You are expected to serve as a specialized squad, dedicated to meeting the challenges that other troops cannot address.
What does that mean?
It depends on the challenges that we face. You have excelled where others have not. As I said before, yesterday, highly trained scouting troops have been picked off. You have faced this foe, fought them, and survived. You are what we need. And in assistance,
Suicide Squad.
and I am hoping that you will come to me with the information that you gather, and if you need anything, of course, you will be paid each week in advance. You may pick up your first payment from my clerk today at your leisure. However, if you are in need of any equipment, we can provide any mundane weaponry and armor. Light, medium, the basics.
Out of is that up to including a athlete?
I'm going to say half plate would not be. I would say breastplate and chainmail would be the cutoff points for what can be freely gathered.
Okay, that did seem a little bit expensive to be gotten for free here.
Yeah.
So you want us to go scouting? Are there towns or villages you would like us to send warnings to? And are you expecting them to bring their people back here? Are you expecting them to just somehow survive on their own?
Well, currently I am still working the details of your first assignment. You are more than just petty messengers. We will be sending out word to those that are in need of it as we can, but... well, these are dark times, hard times. We must do what we can. If people come to us, we will aid as we can. But spreading out our resources especially when threats are on their way. I fear that may be welcoming disaster. But
Everyone wants to, like, have
perhaps,
a look at the map.
it is a map of Nightland. It's noted with different trade routes, marks of where scouts have fallen, and other just important information. But Vendry looks to you, Victoria. But if we are to... We have Vogler, conscripts, eager to aid. Perhaps we can make use of them as sending out messages to the different areas.
They're not soldiers.
Which makes them, if they can be trained to be stealthy, easier to hide in amongst people along the road.
The warding would
That's
mean
between
more
you and
coming
the
from the
people of Vogler.
survivor.
They are eager to aid. I just need to figure out how it is best to use this enthusiasm.
Well, I mean, let us know when you have an assignment for us.
It should be ready in the morning.
I guess, and Victoria will look at Hugh. I guess we can take a peek at the armory then.
Yes. See what we can get.
And collect our pay.
Mm-hmm. We'll need. I'll also expect that the volunteers will get their own, have their own equipment provided for.
Most of the rumors of war have been coming from the east, from Kerr. We did not expect for anything to be happening in our lands. Everything that we have seen here have just been smaller, localized incidents to the south and to the west. Vogler is, again, been the largest community affected that we know of.
We're kind of like, seems a little more relaxed when he hears it comes from the east, because he was mainly concerned about the west as well. But I don't think I'll put further information around. Did we lose the stream?
I don't believe so. It may have gone.
Maybe it
Looks
just
like it's
froze
gonna
on my
pick up in
computer.
here and there.
Yeah, it may have dropped a little bit, but it still seems that we're going, so.
Cool.
Okay.
It may just be a little
There it is.
fluctuating. But it's fine.
bad.
So. As you
Just
are.
Oh,
Oh.
I was gonna say, does the armory also include medical supplies?
We will get to that, because you're about to go on a tour. Yeah, it may have just kind of skipped. It does that sometimes, Lachlan. But we're good. Little Witch Reloaded. I need that to be like a theme. So, you guys, if you have any other questions for Vendry, this would be the time to ask it. Otherwise, she will call forth for a guard to give you guys your tour and get you to the armory and to show you where your lodgings are.
No, Victoria doesn't have any more questions.
So, as a guard comes over, she's very young, bright, a half elf, you see, and she eager to get to showing you around the castle. So, we'll start at the first floor, because that's where the armory is. That's where you've got all other sorts of government offices. The clerk is there for if you are conscripted or contracted. That's where you're gonna go to pick up your paycheck. So you, if you're also looking for the governor or the city council, that's where they meet and hold events. It's on the first floor. We also have a library if any of you are interested in reading or the histories.
Use that.
Now, and as she's leading you down to the first floor, the second floor is all sorts of military command, officer lodgings, just boring stuff, really. The third floor, that's Castle Guard Lodge. There are the ancillary structures where most of the other soldiers reside, unless they've got a house or an apartment elsewhere in the city. So, if you're looking for anyone at the Castle Guard specifically, that's where you're going to find them. And we'll be heading up to the fourth floor, but that's going to be your guys' lodgings, is the fourth floor.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
And there's also a basement. It's mainly for storage, but if you're into any of like the weird history of Kalaman, it's got the long sealed doors to the ruined dungeons.
I'll check that out.
sounds like information we should remember.
Yes. Should check that for secret passageways.
Think someone's gonna sneak in through the sealed secret dungeons?
Probably not. They've been sealed off for years, decades, I think.
Rue almost wants to ask how old she is. Like, she's a half elf, so
She is a half elf.
they don't live to be like 8 zillion years old, do they?
They can live to be fairly long, but they're not the same. I believe in Dungeons and Dragons 5e official, they don't give a specific end of their life expectancy. So, who knows? If they take really good care of their health, they might live as long as an average elf.
With that bad human blood in them.
So, you are able to make it to the armory for any of you that are interested in checking out what they have. It's mainly simple weaponry, ammunition, and armor, Rue. Not much in the form of first aid.
How do they expect to have a military if they don't have people to take care of their wounded soldiers?
Usually we just call for a doctor, a surgeon, a healer, whatever is needed. Do you need a doctor or a surgeon or a healer?
I don't need one, but I might need some of the supplies that they use so I can practice my trade. I found this apothecary down the way called Wines. Are they any good?
I don't typically go to She's a little scary for me, but she's been in business for a while and is sanctioned by the mages of high sorcery, so I guess she does fairly good.
Sounds interesting. Mental
Were you,
note.
were you looking for armor vests?
Yes, Vass will take whatever the best medium armor is that is available to him.
Hugh likewise gets a breastplate.
So was that a breastplate? Was
Uh,
the
a breastplate and chainmail would be the end of the medium armor.
okay?
Chainmail's heavy.
Chainmail is heavy? The chain shirt, I think, is the medium version of that.
Yeah.
That's the one that I was thinking. The breastplate chain shirt area is where the medium armor.
Although it make from a balancing thing, it makes perfect sense that chain shirts would be available as a AC 16.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, so Vass will get himself a set of breastplate armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Victoria, if they have a spear rack somewhere, she'll grab a spear to replace the one she lost.
Yeah, usually enough to grab a spear. So, when you are ready to follow your guide once more, she leads you through the 3 levels up to the 4th floor. You do see that throughout the Castle Kalaman that there are various stonework and statues that depict the warrior god Kiri Jolith, patron of the Islamnic Knights of the Sword.
Mm-hmm.
And fairly easy for Victoria to recognize and point out. And
I imagine in centuries past, there were many more knights in this castle. Hey, the half-elves here. Are there any Salamanic knights in the castle?
I don't think at this time, but we do get them fairly often. Like an order of them kind of comes through town, and just most of the time we try and handle things on our own. It can get a little. Well, we don't want to rely on them all too much. They do so much as it is, and well, we can be self-sufficient as well. But I'm friends with a knight of Slumnia. If you are looking to get into contact, I can reach out and see if we can get an envoy here quicker.
Oh, what's your name? What's her name? I don't know if she introduced herself or not.
She did not, but she
Yeah.
will now. Oh, I'm Zuela.
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 I'm Victoria. I may take you up on the offer. We'll have to see the minister first and see what she has to say about sending word to the knights. And if it's not prompt enough, then I would love to take you up on your offer.
All right. Well, just let me know if you guys are going to be around. You can, find me pretty easily. Most everyone here knows who I am. I can point you to my post or patrol if I'm somewhere else on the move.
Okay.
As she leads you up to the 4th floor, you see that the 4th floor and the tower seem to be vacant, in slight disrepair.
Yeah.
And as she leads you to what has been assigned your lodgings, you see that this room was once a small ballroom. A row of pillars, sculpted with knotwork and images of knights, supports a vaulted ceiling. Light shines into the room through tall windows facing the mountains to the south. One corner of the hall holds a collection of plain cots and empty chests, enough for each of you. And nearby stands
Oh, we don't even get our own rooms.
Nearby stands a large wooden table. There are 3 small private rooms that connect to this hall that you may use as you please.
Only 3?
Only 3.
Ah, who's doubling up?
Yeah, I don't
I
know
mean,
about
well,
this
that
one.
depends. If Rue isn't staying here,
Oh.
it's not a problem.
Yeah, that would make itself sort itself out.
Is there like a patio or a balcony that I could drag my cot out to?
There is not. The closest that you could do would be, so you have the main small ballroom and then the 3 offshoot rooms. So you could pull your cot underneath the tall windows. That would be the closest that you could get to being outside.
We'll see how it goes.
Sirenscape is now being weird and funky. She's just doing so bad tonight. So yeah, you have essentially 4 rooms that create your quarters. The small ballroom and the 3 private rooms. And how do you settle into your area?
Drag my cot over by the window.
All right.
And my chest.
Yeah, Rue's cot and chest are over by the window.
All right, yeah, I mean, I'll pack stuff into one of the room and spend some time cleaning it and making it dust-free and any minor repairs that need to be done.
Easily.
Hugh stows away his extra gear and supplies and such. And he notes that he has an extra shield, extra armor, and extra longsword. So he makes a note to donate that to some likely Vogler lad to make a fully equipped warrior of him.
Sounds good.
Voss will make himself at home in the last remaining private room and will immediately start undergoing an elaborate hair routine.
I love
You
it.
just got up.
You guys rushed me out of the door so fast, man. I didn't even have time to like put myself together.
Just imagine
Spent
you,
like 3 hours doing it.
Did you put the armor on, or did you just carry the armor up with you and have to try it on?
Well, I definitely need to model the armor as well.
I'm just imagining like putting the armor on like messed up your hair, and now you have to start all over again.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's exactly what happened. Oh, when we were getting a tour of the setup here, when we were on the floor where we pick up payment, did we grab the payment while we were passing through?
Yeah, Zuela would have showed Hugh the clerk's office, so he would have been able to pick up the because Hugh is the sworn-in contractor.
Yes.
So he gets the 5 gold. But there are other jobs that are available for you in Kalaman if you would like to find ways to pick up some coin.
So just Hugh's getting paid.
That's it.
I thought, do only I get paid, or I get paid for the 4 of them? And
It's only
responsibility
so Hugh, you are the only one that is contracted by the military. So,
Okay.
and forgive me, this would have been made clear to you guys before through Vendry. So if anyone wants to like sort of rescind and say, oh, I'd actually like this as well, you're welcome to do that too. But she would have made it clear that if you are coming in swearing to the military, you are being paid for your time.
That's how I heard it the first time, but then I didn't know. It almost sounded like we were all getting paid, so I just wanted to clarify. So I thought we weren't getting paid, which
Yeah.
is how
But
it is. Perfect.
the rest of us are still getting food.
Yes, you
lodging,
still get
and
food and lodging. You just don't get the extra 5 gold.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's a comfortable lifestyle. Like you're not like squalid or anything like that. Like it's good.
Depends on how you define comfortable, city slicker.
It's high class.
So yeah. As you guys are settling in, Zuela does head off to go back to her own duties, and you do hear a knock resounding through the room, and a scent of pastries fill the air, savory and thick, as you see Derek, and he has
Huh.
hand pies.
Old habits die hard, eh?
Well, I wanted to make sure that you guys were settling in, and perhaps a little bit of comfort goes a long way. They're no
Where
fish
are you
pie.
staying?
I've been set up on the 3rd floor. Vendry has got me settled in with the castle guards. So I'll be nearby. Then he hands pies out for any who want them. They are
Pie.
very, it's a thick crust, very flavorful, buttery. Inside the meat is a stewed beef with a rich gravy, plenty of onions and carrots.
Uh-oh.
Rue, you don't like this at all.
Pink. He's trying his best to like not just completely lose it.
Yeah,
He doesn't want to make Derek feel bad.
You wait until there's a moment where Derek's looking at someone else while he's talking, and then you can just like spit it into your hand and like wipe it off somewhere.
Frisbee it out the window.
Right? The windows do open, by the way, so like you can 100% frisbee it out the top of Castle Kalaman, and it just hits one of the passerbys.
Going like 100 miles per hour. Bang!
What happened was this pie on my face. Window shuts. I do want to know, what you guys are thinking. I don't know if Vendry told you. We'll be working together. Not quite in the same capacity as we were in Vogler. I'll be somewhat of Vendry's envoy, making sure that you guys get what she needs to deliver to you all. But if you guys need something for Vendry, I'd advocate for you guys to her and to other leaders if need be.
Alright.
Well, if you guys need help any settling in, or I can see what I can do if there's anything that's lying around. Can send your way. Anything I can do to, say thank you.
Armor racks. Weapon racks.
I'll
That
see.
sort of thing.
I'll see if there's any that are available. But yeah.
First aid supplies.
Okay.
Maybe Rue has an idea of what you could get him.
Rue kind of perks up at that. I mean, I was just looking for some simple things like a healer's kit so I can tend to the dying, and maybe like an herbalism kit so I can brew up some anti-venoms and stuff in case we encounter any nasty beasts out there.
I'll ask around, see if I can, if some of the other guys here know of where we might find some. Might be something you can find in the city as well, but I'll do what I can. I know we haven't known each other long, but you've done a lot for me, for Vogler, and I think of you guys as my friends.
Oh. Shadow makes us friends of us all. Hugh puts a hand on her shoulder.
Victoria's still trying to hide her disappointment in him.
You can see that he notices that like Victoria's kind of shifted. He slumps his shoulders a bit, but he's anyone can tell he's very earnest in what he's trying to do for you, as well as excited in what he's doing for the people here.
It's just an overpaid go for now.
Hey.
Rue's like trying to
Contract
pick
service.
the crumbs of the pie out from his beard. Like he can feel it in there, but he can't quite get it out.
Mm-hmm. So, as you all are settling in, or as settled in as you can be with the sparse furniture you've been given, the day is still young. The sun still reigns in the sky. And we are coming to the end of our session. And we will pick up with your first full day in Kalaman as able to move about freely next week. So, if you've got plans for the city, I suggest you start thinking of them now. Our session does come to a close
Burn
here.
it all.
Burn the city. We're the army now. As our session does come to a close, I do just want to say thank you to our players for playing. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. Thank you to our viewers for viewing. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. I'll see you guys in the next week. Until then, head over to wildwitch.com. Check out all the fun things that we've got going on there, all the ways you can join us on the internet, and of course the invite link to our Discord where you can come in, hang out, play some games yourselves. I do also want to say thank you to Sirenscape. You can find out more about them by heading to their website, sirenscape.com, to see what they can do for you and your table. And as always, may the ever-burning light ever guide your steps. Laters.